Parasha Meditation, Parashat BeHar, such a special parasha, especially this year when we actually have Shmita year, and Parashat BeHar is all about keeping the laws of the sabbatical year. And something is really quite amazing about keeping Shmita, because all the losses or victories of the state of Israel, they took place the year following Shmita. For example, the victory of the 6-day war, where we captured Jerusalem and also Gush Etzion, that took place in year 5227, when it was Shmita year, the previous year in 26. So keeping the laws of Shmita makes us worthy to continue holding on to the land of Israel. And through keeping the mitzvot of Shmita, we strengthen our emunah and our trust in Hashem, at the same time creating unity among all the Jewish people. And so this is why we often read Parashat BeHar in proximity with Shavuot this year, because it's a leap year. There's a little bit more of a gap. So it's a big, it's already demonstrating emunah when people take a day a week off from work, Shabbat, and trust that Hashem will provide for them nevertheless. But think about the incredible test of taking a whole year off for a farmer, taking a whole year off work. It's cannot compare to taking off Shabbat, and Shabbat is even hard enough. So maybe we could say more than the land of, well, we could say, it's famous saying, more than Israel has kept Shabbat, Shabbat has kept Israel. But perhaps we can say more than the land of Israel has kept the sabbatical year, the Shmita, the sabbatical year has kept the land of Israel. And so we need to learn to relinquish our ownership to the land. I mean, if you live outside of Israel, you don't have the same opportunity to develop the emunah, the faith in Hashem during the year of Shmita. The main thing you have to do if you don't live in Israel is to check the food that's imported from Israel, whether it has a proper Shmita certification, a proper Shmita kashrut kosher certification. But here it's really different. And so we are getting to experience, even if I weed all the thorns, work myself to a sweat, turning the earth, add comforts, plant delicious grapes, as soon as the Shmita year arrives, I'm reminding how everything belongs to Hashem. As it states, for the land is mine, and you are strangers and settlers with me. That's in Parashat BeHar, Vayikra 25:23. So I want to give an example of that. My first Shmita year in the land, and we had beautiful grapes that we had planted, and it was one Thursday afternoon. I'm looking out the window. What do I see? Guess what? One of my neighbors is helping himself to the most succulent, delicious grapes in my garden. And I'm like, my first impulse is like, stop, these are mine. What are you doing? Taking my grapes. I had planned these grapes to pick them on Friday, the following day, to serve them for my family and my Shabbat guests. And here he's taking them, all the good ones that are ready, all the ready ones. And then I have to realize it took a little bit. It was the very first time. It took some processing until I realized that all my hard work in my garden was meant not just for myself and my family, but for Hashem. Hashem gives the land of Israel to all of the Jewish people to share and live in unison and harmony upon it. As it states, the produce of the land during the Shabbat shall be food for all of you, for your servant, for your maidservant, for your hired laborer, and for the stranger that lives with you. So I invite you to my garden to help yourself. Now the strawberries and the loquat sheshek are ripe, so you're welcome. Okay, You don't have to ask permission. I already told that to my students, but they're yet to come. Okay, the connection between Shmita and Mount Sinai is because, it starts with BeHar Sinai, and all the mitzvot are given in Har Sinai. So why does the Torah say it specifically in Shmita? So it's connected with taking the abstract concept of the Torah and bringing it into the very physical details of the work on Shmita. So the Israelites expressed the ultimate declaration of faith when they readily accepted the Torah on Sinai, exclaiming, "We will do and we will hear," and Aseh v'nishma. Keeping the laws of Shmita likewise requires sublime faith, like we explains, believing firmly that Hashem will take care of all of our needs, even if we abstain from work in order to keep Hashem's mitzvah, or even if we share everything we have with everybody else, everything that's growing. Through adhering to the laws of the land, we ingrain within our entire being that only God gives us the strength to accomplish anything in this world. So even though this mitzvah is specifically on the field, it teaches us the mastery of God. God is the only master of everything, not just of the field. Rather than thinking, yati ve'otzem kochi ve'otzem yati asali et kol ele. Like my power and the might of my hand has gotten me all this. So this week's Parsha also talks about the Jubilee land, the Yovel. After you count 7 circles of Shmita, and the 50th year is Yovel. That's when all the slaves go free and all the land goes back to its original owner. So Shmita and Yovel in unison teach us to return to our essential selves and let go equally of our attachment to ownership and being enslaved or owned by others. Now we're ready for the meditation. Make yourself comfortable in your space. Relax and allow yourself to let yourself go completely. Breathe slowly and relax even more. Visualize an imaginary shofar of freedom and prepare yourself to blow it. Inhale and envision yourself blowing the shofar on the exhalation. The sound of the shofar will allow you to relinquish ownership to everything that is not part of your essential being. Keep blowing your imaginary shofar of freedom several times and let it call you back to your essential self. Crown Hashem King over your garden and home with each shofar blast. Inhale while imagining your garden, if applicable. Exhale, blowing your imaginary shofar into your garden, if you have one. Now inhale while envisioning your home. Then blow your shofar into your home, relinquishing attachment to all of your possessions one by one. Repeat the sequence of breathing, blowing the shofar and crowning Hashem over the particular possessions of your choice, as many times as you would like. And that you may have to do mostly for homework. Now turn your attention to your body. Blow the shofar of freedom into your forehead, crowning Hashem there. Let the sounds of your shofar crown Hashem over your eyes, nose, ears, mouth, cheeks, the back of your head, your neck, and shoulders. Make Hashem King over your arms and hands as you blow the breath of life into each of them. Crown Hashem over your lungs, heart, and diaphragm. Allow the shofar to cleanse away any blockages you may be holding there. Continue crowning Hashem while blowing your shofar into his small intestines, belly, and colon, purifying them and making Hashem king over them. Blow the shofar into your liver, spleen, and kidneys while crowning Hashem. Finally, bring the liberating sound of the shofar into your thighs, knees, calf, and feet, making Hashem king over your entire being and over everything that you own. Keep breathing and enjoy your new freedom from attachment as you return to your essential self. Shmita comes to heal the land and give us a taste of the Garden of Eden, where everything was ownerless. There was no ownership there. But Adam and Chava breached their idyllic relationship with the land by sizing ownership to it instead of keeping the law of the land given by Hashem. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you must not eat it, for on the day that you eat thereof, you shall surely die. Consequently, the land was cursed, as it states. Cursed is the earth because of you. In the sweat of your brow, you shall eat bread until you return to the ground. Thus, in order to make the land yield its produce, humanity had to give itself over to hard labor. We no longer live in paradise, receiving our sustenance directly from Hashem's open hand. Yet during every Shmita year, the land gradually heals as we learn that we are neither enslaved to working the land, nor are we its owner or master. Shmita teaches us that we are just custodians who enjoy the privilege to dwell in Hashem's holy land. Okay.
Shalom.